religion and the anti-colonialism. Now we shall discuss about how did religion played a crucial role in making the Vietnamese to raise their voices against the colonial rule. Till the time the Vietnamese were dissatisfied with the rule of the French, but were not in a larger uprising against this one. So with the religious point of view, the first uprising started against the colonial government. That's what we are going to discuss in this unit. The French occupied Vietnam in the basis of militarily. After occupying Vietnam militarily, now French did not occupy it on any other basis. Only by its strength it is able to occupy that one. After it occupied this one militarily, now French want to reshape their social and cultural life. According to the French people, the Vietnamese people are not civilized, or they are not having the modernization, so they have to be modernized. So the French thought that it is the prima facie responsibility of the French government to modernize this one, to modernize the colonial country and to pressurize them to convert into Christianity. That's how they started the initial process of converting the people into other religion. So what are the actual religions that are being followed in Vietnam? Actually in Vietnam they used to follow Buddhism and Confucianism. So they are habituated of following Buddhism and Confucianism, while the Christianity was introduced actually by the French. The Christianity was introduced actually by the French. So once the Christianity has been brought into the people of Vietnamese, people are slowly getting converted into Christianity, that too in Christianity Catholicism. So once they got into Catholicism, after getting attracted by the Catholicism, the Catholics do not give up anything freely or easygoing. That's why the intolerance of easygoing nature has come up into picture by the Christian missionaries. They don't want the Vietnamese to give up anything easily. They want to be stubborn. They want to be very strong and firm in making their decisions. That's how the decisions start to be this. They need to be change their attitude. That's how the necessity of changing the attitude has come. So the scholars in 1868 started to revolt against the Vietnamese rule of French. Vietnamese were occupied by the French, but till that time we did not get any kind of major revolts which are trying to arrest the issues of colonial government to come in. But once the Christianity has been forced and the actual nature of the people are also been questioned, saying that your easygoing attitude is not at all good. You need to change your attitude. You need to recorrect yourself. So all these things made us to think again, and these scholars, those who are well educated, started to revolt against the attitude of the French people which is supporting the Christianity. The imperial court was completely dissatisfied with the growing nature of the French and the religion of Catholicism. French is going day by day up, growing its control on the people, and also Catholicism started to spread to larger number of people. And when it comes to the provinces from where it was being led from the provincial regions of Nguyen and Hatien. Nguyen and Hatien. These two regions are very, very specific and important because nearly 1,000 people are being killed from this region. When the 1,000 people are being killed from this region, it is an arresting point where these 1,000 are the Catholics who are being killed. So these Catholics, when they were being killed, it started to become a very, very tragic point for all the people. So the revolt started to come in a very, very large number. But by the time itself, from 17th century to the 18th century, when the French people stepped inside itself, the Christian missionaries also came in. They started to win the support of the people and convert themselves into Christianity. That's how slowly the conversions have been gone up to a height of nearly 3 lakh people. So there are now a good hold on the Christianity. French people also like Christianity, and also that French supports Christianity or the Catholicism. Now the fundamental question is, if French is supporting Christianity, and why the people are getting killed? And the other point is, why are they not encouraging the religions of Buddhism and Confucianism? So those who are following Buddhism and those who are following the Confucianism are easygoing people? Why are they branded like that? Why only Catholics are very stubborn and very good people when they are achieving something? Why not the other religious people are considered like this? So these all questions started to be raised up, and slowly the anti-colonial movement, which was actually the anti-religious movement, started to spread on to be an anti-colonial movement, because when French government tried to crush all these people bilaterally, the movement was been slowing down, but it inspired the patriots of the nationalism and also the other religious people to fight against the French colonial rule. The process went on like this. Once again, we'll have a quick recap of this. French occupied the Vietnam militarily. After occupying it militarily, they want to reshape the social and the cultural life of the Vietnamese. So, when it comes to social life and the cultural life, actually what is the social and the cultural life of the Vietnamese? The Vietnamese follow the religion of Buddhism and Confucianism. So, they follow that religion, they follow that culture. Slowly Christianity has been introduced into Vietnam by the support of the French and also some Christian missionaries. So once Christianity has come inside and started to move deeply into the people, now the attitude of the Vietnamese of giving up everything freely or without trying hard has become an unacceptable point for the Christian people. So the Christian missionaries actually. So this forcing the people to do something made the people to react very firmly for this. So that's how the scholars revolt came in 1868, which was the first revolt recorded against the French colonial government. The imperial court from the provinces of Nguyen and Hatien, where 1,000 Catholics were being killed in the name of the religion, and then they started to raise their voices questioning, why is something being pressed on us? Why are we asked to follow something which we are not knowing for that? Though you may be ruling us, but we have our own freedoms, our own likings, our own tradition, our own culture. So that's the reason why the people start to raise their voices. There are missionaries also who are able to win the support of the people and get converted into Christianity. There are nearly 3 lakh people of Catholics who are in Vietnam during that time. So when the movement raised on, French government used her iron hand and crushed the entire revolt, resulting in the stop of the revolt, and the revolt died. But the spirit of the revolt did not die. It gave an inspiration for the patriots and also for the other religious people to raise their voices. Now, moving on to understand that the elites of Vietnam were actually the well-educated people of Vietnam. These people are able to understand what is good, what is the proper action that has to be taken, why religion should not be considered as an anti-colonial movement. That all they were able to understand. But when it comes to the peasants are having a blend of the feeling of the religions. They are syncretic. The syncretic nature of the peasants made them to understand the religions by the blend of Buddhism and Confucianism, by the blend of modernism and the traditional nature. So that's how they got the division between some people who are in support of the French, who like the Western influence to be brought in to get modernization. Some want against the Western influence because they have to bring traditional growth in the country and not to align ourselves with the West. So they need to attach themselves towards the traditional nature. We have to stick up ourselves for the traditional nature, and we need to prove ourselves. We need to make our tradition stronger, but do not adopt the Western nature. That's how they started to raise the questions. When the movement started, which was against the attitude of the Britishers, that is the Have-O movement, which was started at Mekong in the year 1939. He is also known as Huyen Phu Su. Huyen Phu Su actually does miracles and had a very great influence on the people. He doesn't speak simply something, he has some value for his words. He criticized only the useless expenditures. The useless expenditures are the sale of a child, gambling, alcohol, opium. These are the main key focus points what he always want to stop from the use of the people. He criticized the people not to follow any kind of actions like selling their children, and he don't want anyone to play gambling and losing their money. He do not encourage anyone to consume alcohol or opium. So that is the reason why he is considered as a very good person, and his influence on the people was very high. So the French people who are angry with the growing influence of this Hoya Hayo or the so-called Huan Funsu, they decided to up down the movement because his influence will be growing on and tomorrow he may raise his voice against the movement. So he want to stop this growing nature of this particular person's popularity. So they decided this man as he is a madman. After declaring him as a madman, he was sent to a mental asylum, and in 1941 he was asked to be certified by a doctor. The funny thing, or though it is a reality, it is a bit funny for us to understand, that is the doctor who has to certify him as a insane person, as a mentally upset person, the doctor himself became a follower of this person. He declared, finally all the doctors declared that he is a sane, he is mentally perfect, fit and fine. There is no problem in his mental attitude. He is very, very fine. The certificate was given by all the government officials, all the doctors. So the doctor who is supposed to give resigned and he joined himself as a follower. So that's how then the French government got angry and they decided to exile him out of the country by sending him in 1941 to Laos. So he was sent to Laos and finally they decided him to be there only. And he has many followers, as we discussed earlier. So they decided them to be sent the followers to the concentration camps where they will be executed or staying away from the region of Vietnam so that they will not be in a position to influence anybody else. That's what their plan was. Let us see here. Elites of the Vietnam were well educated. They sometimes prefer to have modernization. When it comes to the peasants are having a syncretic nature. Some of them are supporting it, some of them are opposing it. The some who are in support want modernization to come in. Some who are not supporting want the traditional values of Vietnam to be saved and preserved and to train the people in their traditional values so that they can get upgraded in that particular point. But one of the moment which happened during this period was this Hao movement, which is this man in 1939 at Mekong, who is also known as Huyen Phu Su. Huyen Phu Su does miracles and he is having a large popularity in the people. So because of his popularity and the celebrity nature, he started to raise his voice against the colonial government. So once he decided to raise his voice against the colonial government, because people follow his words strongly and firmly. So when he started to criticize the government and he started to also criticize all the useless expenditures which are in regards to the sale of the children, in regards to the gambling, in regards to alcohol or in regards to the sale of opium or consuming opium. So with this growing popularity and all, French want to overturn this revolt and shut down the momentum. So they declared this man as Huyen Phu Su is a madman and they arrested him and imprisoned him and sent him to mental asylum. After going to mental asylum, the doctors need to be certify him that he is a mental person or he is an insane person. The doctor who is supposed to certify him himself resigned the job and joined him as a follower, and all the doctors declared him that he is a sane and he is not having any kind of mental disabilities. So angry with the nature of the doctors and with the attitude of the people, French government decided to stop the movement at any point. So they decided to exile him and send him to Laos, leaving the country. As he is having many followers, the followers are forced to send towards the concentration camps. That's how the French government started to stop the momentum rising. But though the movements have been crushed, the spirit of the movement lived and survived. That's how the spirit started to generate its higher wave and higher waves. As the movements have been crushed, the momentum of the waves is becoming higher and higher.
If you like this video, please give a thumbs up. Please subscribe to our channel to get more videos on CBSE syllabus.